It blows my mind how blatant Zack Snyder is being on his Instagram. You probably can't see it very clearly, so I'll read this out to you and tell you what's going on in this latest Instagram picture. He's holding up two comic books, Action Comics #1 and another Superman one as well. And meanwhile, the music he's playing is Frank Sinatra, The Impossible Dream. Let that sink in. So, I think he's telling us, if nothing else, it's his impossible dream. Maybe to adapt these comic books, but his impossible dream is to make more DC movies again. He's telling us he really wants it to happen. Is he telling us that the impossible dream is going to happen, that he's in talks and it's going to happen, or he wants it to happen? I have no idea. But unless you haven't been paying attention, Zack Snyder is telling us he wants back in to making DC movies. Whether or not he's made an agreement with WB to make more DC movies, whether or not he's made an agreement with Netflix when they do officially take control of Warner Brothers Discovery, that he'll be making more DC movies, I have no idea. But this is fucking beautiful and blatant. He's calling this the impossible dream. He's telling you what he wants to do. He's encouraging us to support the restoration of the Snyderverse. That's what he's doing, boys and girls. Now, it's very exciting. Keep it up, Zack. It's really triggering James Gunn. And I will reference the whole Christina Hodson writing Brave and the Bold, because Boris Kitt of The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed Jeff Snyder's rumour. Jeff's scoop was actually real. He got a scoop right for a change. Have a glass of Bollinger on me, son. So, you know, one person is announcing a cartoon like Christina Hodson as the writer for Brave and the Bold, and another man is holding iconic comics and has given us 4, including Watchmen, iconic, compelling, artistic DC movies. I know which man I'd rather be making me DC stuff. Yes, Mr. Zack Snyder, just in case there's no misunderstanding. But I'll tell you a guy I really like. It's Jay Oliver, the artist who worked on MOS and BVS. I'm not sure if he did Zack Snyder's Justice League, and he's directed some DC animation as well. We're going to talk about some of the things he's had to say. Again, he really is nailing James Gunn's Superman to the ground. So first of all, let's see what he has to say about Man of Steel. He keeps on talking about Man of Steel because people keep on tagging him. Man of Steel Superman fought against trained and genetically bred Kryptonians who have spent their entire existence to learn Kryptonian warfare and martial arts. But sure, fighting a clone who's taking commands from a human is faster than keeping up with the Flash. He's mocking Superman. He's mocking Superman, mate. He's mocking James Gunn's Superman. It's hilarious. No, we have to read this again. This is so fucking funny and based. Look, this is brilliant. So he talks about Man of Steel, and he talks about how Superman fought against trained and genetically bred Kryptonians who have spent their entire existence to learn Kryptonian warfare and martial arts. But sure, fighting a clone who's taking commands from a human is faster than keeping up with the Flash. It's fucking hilarious. He's absolutely mocking James Gunn. And here's another one. Lex would have to have superhuman abilities in order to watch a fight, anticipate what Superman is doing, then make a verbal command for the clone to follow in real time. Superman is too fast. He saved the squirrel, but couldn't use his super hearing to hear the commands. This is brilliant. I didn't even think about it this way. How, he's giving this clone commands, and then to think that Superman can't hear him, can't hear what Lex and his team are doing is ridiculous, and that he can't move fast enough. So Lex Luthor's commands wouldn't be fast enough to counter Superman's speed. So what Jay's doing here is absolutely blisteringly exposing Gunn's shoddy writing. Because Gunn is an absolute hack, and he proves it here. And as I say, there's a lot of stuff that he's done I like the Three Guardians movies, like his Peacemaker movie, Peacemaker show, and Suicide Squad movie. I like all that stuff, right? But the point being that Jay is absolutely bang on here, that it doesn't make sense. But Jay doesn't stop there. He says something else. And away from mocking James Gunn's Superman, he says this. MOS Superman is just a plain brawler because Clark is just a regular guy with no training. Eventually, I would see Batman training him post-JL, so he'd be pretty scary by the time he confronts Darkseid. So very, very interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Batman training Superman how to fight. That, Batfleck and Cavill's Superman having a training session. And then Superman learning, because Superman isn't a fighter really. We've never seen him be an expert fighter. He uses his powers to inflict damage, but he's not a fighter. So imagine if someone trained him to be a proper fighter with his superpowers as well, he would be fucking deadly. And Jay makes a great point there as well. So look, Jay Oliver is goated. He's very passionate about DC. You can tell, look, I love this guy because he really does nail Gunn and nail Gunn's fans and the other Snyderverse haters to the wall. Because every point is fucking valid and goated. And now I do want to cover the Christina Hodson news that she's officially writing Brave and the Bold. Now Gunn has not mentioned this at all. By the way, I still don't think this movie will ever happen. Some of you said, but you said it's never going to happen. I don't believe it will. I believe Gunn's leaked this news, so it looks like there's some kind of traction going on with this movie. I still don't believe we're ever going to see this Brave and the Bold movie. Now, what's going on is, several months ago, he got a mystery writer to actually start writing this movie, or apparently. And this is his mystery writer. As some people have said, no wonder he was keeping her a fucking secret. I thought, naive, stupid me, normally I'm quite cynical, aren't I? I thought, he must be hiding a really famous writer. This is going to be awesome. And it ended up being Christina Hodson. But as I said yesterday, in my quick reaction to this, that once I realised he was keeping Hodson as part of the writing team, that was a red flag in itself, boys and girls. So, look, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. No one who cares about DC, who wants to make great movies, employs Christina Hodson to write their movie for them. Now, some of her supporters have come out and said, well, she's a great writer, she wrote Birds of Prey, yeah, full of extremism and propaganda, feminist extremism. Then, there's the Flash movie. Now, it's interesting because I believe she wrote Batfleck in a really toxic way. But when it came to Keaton's Batman, she kind of did a better job. Not a great job. It still doesn't, that writing for Keaton's Batman doesn't give me any hope that she can write a great Batman movie. No, not at all. But you can't mess about with Keaton. They believe that Keaton could bring audiences to the theatre for the Flash movie. It didn't work. And actually, quite surprised it didn't work. People saw through it. But I think people were boycotting the movie because of Ezra Miller anyway, at that point. And lots of other reasons, of course. Lots of fans have been boycotting these movies for ages since Snyder was driven off of the property, right? But, yeah, it's interesting because the way she wrote Batfleck and the way she wrote Keaton was very, very different. It's interesting. But I don't believe that she can write a great movie. Listen, You're a Hollywood CEO, a co-CEO of DC Studios. And let's be honest, you probably got the pick of most writers in the town. A competent person wouldn't go to Christina Hodson. And this is why I believe that this wasn't actually Gunn's decision. Christina Hodson was brought in by Walter Hamada. Now, Walter Hamada, I think, is at Universal now. He's nothing to do with them. But I told you a long time ago that Toby Emmerich never left WB. Zaslav gave him his own little production company and he'd be working in partnership with WB. He's still there. Because her remaining there is very, very suspicious, Christina Hodson. She's not a good writer. She's made she's written flop after flop after flop. I mean, this is a town, an industry that fails upwards. Every time someone fails, they give them a better fucking job. This woman can't believe her fucking luck that she's writing a Batman movie. It's fucking insane. It's like they don't want to make money. They don't want to make good things. And as usual, it's us DC fans that suffer. But the thing is as well, it's not like anyone should be surprised at this point. Gunn has failed on every level with DC. He will continue to fail. And the situation will get worse and worse and worse. And what's very interesting is Gunn hasn't said anything about this. Gunn hasn't reacted to this news. I'm assuming it's because there's something a little bit naughty about this news. It's like she's kind of attached to the movie, but she's not. Eventually, I would assume he's going to say something about her. Maybe today, tomorrow, I don't know. Saying what a great writer she is. He's going to make himself look like a fucking prat. Like he normally fucking does, right? But I think this news about Christina Hodson writing Brave and the Bold is a little bit naughty. And there's an element of truth there, but not totally true. Because it's not really a Brave and the Bold movie. And if you were really highly anticipating this movie, you're not now. You know that this movie is fucking toast. If it ever happens. As I say, I don't believe this movie is going to happen. Now, in terms of Muschietti directing it, some reports say he's still attached. Remember what I said to you from the moment he was announced, just before the release of the Flash movie? I said they were using him to use, hype. They would just, before you saw the movie, they said, oh, the same director who directed the Flash. Before you saw the movie and you're watching the trailers and you thought, oh, you were harbouring wishes of the film being great, they announced that Muschietti was also going to direct Brave and the Bold. That was to create hype and interest and excitement for the Flash movie, which of course didn't fucking work. That's the only reason. He was never, ever going to direct Brave and the Bold. That's if Brave and the Bold even exists, which I have my doubts about. Now they're saying, with the hit of Derry City, which is his it thing, whatever it is, he may be too busy because he'd be doing other things. They're going to use scheduling as an excuse. But take it from me, boys and girls, this guy was never going to direct this movie. Because I don't believe this movie's going to happen. And I don't mind being wrong. I'm not one of those people. I've been very adamant that this film doesn't exist. I don't believe there's a real script for it. And I think Gunn saying that Hodson is writing it is true, but it's not true. I don't know what's going on. I truly don't. I think it's insane that you've got one Batman there and you want another Batman here. Gunn knows, Zaslav knows, Safran knows this isn't going to work. And if the Batman 2 makes loads of money, then who's going to bother going to watch a Batman movie written by Christina fucking Hodson? But then it depends who you cast. If you cast someone exciting and juicy in the role of Batman for the DCU, then there will be interest whether she writes the movie or not. But I think the problem is this DCU Batman palaver has been a problem from day one. He keeps on answering fans saying, I'm not going to release a Batman movie the same year as Matt's movie. Why didn't you say all of this when you released your slate? Why did you announce Brave and the Bold? What you should have said was, we will have no Batman in the DCU until Matt Reeves completes what he's doing. And then eventually, we'll do it. And to cover himself, he should have said, listen, I came in and I've inherited the wonderful Matt Reeves and here's the Batman crime saga. So while Matt's doing that, we're not going to have our own Batman because you can't have two Batman. It doesn't really make sense. If he came out, some people had said that. Some people would have been really upset, but at least it would be logical. At least it would make sense. Instead of lying that you're going to make a Batman movie, that you're going to have two Batmen, that doesn't make sense. That is illogical, boys and girls.